Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Punk Rock Player One channel. Got another review for you guys. We're looking at Knocked Loose, You Won't Go Before You're Supposed to, and we're gonna just go right into it. So, I like how the name of this album came to be. So, apparently, the singer of the band, I don't know his name necessarily, but he was on a plane and he was talking to this lady because I think he was anxious about being on the plane, and the lady just straight up said to him, "You won't go before you're supposed to." And I think that stuck with him. That would stick with me too. I'd be like, "Oh, damn." But this kind of, I mean, it's a kind thing to say, but it's also kind of stark in a way. It's very like visceral, and that is actually a good way to describe this new release by Knocked Loose. It's very visceral. It's very eerie in a lot of different ways and times throughout the album. Yeah, eerie and visceral is a good way to describe this album, and it's a great way to describe the first track called Thirst. So Thirst has like a bunch of like ambient sounds at the beginning, and it just immediately catches you off guard. And I liked what the track description said for it. It's like a jump scare. I did jump a little bit when I heard this song. I had headphones on. I was like, "Ooh," when it happened. But yeah, good jump scare. Really, really loud scream was the jump scare after a little bit of like ambient noise and some clean guitar playing. And this song probably is the fastest song in the album once it gets going, I think. There's a ton of fast songs on this album, but I'm pretty sure the part where they're playing fast on here is the most breakneck speed of the album. So props for that for this first song. It's only like a minute and 36 seconds or something like that. And they did this thing where this guy mostly has a light voice, so I'm not sure. I'm sure he can sing or like scream in a deep voice. So I'll have to look that up later. But if it is him, he's switching from a light voice and to a deep voice, then back to the light voice. If it's not him, he's doing the light voice, and one of his bandmates is doing the deep voice. Either way, it sounded very good on the first track with that going back and forth like that good cop, bad cop kind of thing on Thirst. Second track, uh, and I definitely can see that this album is meant to be listened to all the way through because just like with a ton of other albums back in the day and currently, they like to bleed the track lead guitar or any kind of sounds into the next track. So that'll definitely be good for repeat listen for this album, for the fans of Knocked Loose for sure. So yeah, Thirst bleeds directly into Piece by Piece, and I noticed how tinny the cymbals sound on this song in particular, and that's not like a bad thing, but or they were hitting different kind of cymbals, not your regular cymbals, and it just added to the like the ambiance of the song. It made it, kind of like Slipknot kind of instrumental where they're just banging on like gongs or trailer bins or something. I don't know. It added to it for sure. And the last there's like a ton of back breakdowns in this album, just back and forth breakdowns everywhere. So anyway, the last breakdown in the song is especially nasty, and the vocals are unhinged as heck. And yeah, you can tell that there's feeling behind the delivery of the vocals. Sometimes you can suss that out with other bands, like they're just screaming to scream, like there's nothing behind that. But for this, there's something behind the screaming. So well done. And yeah, I put this as one of my top five, Piece by Piece, absolutely. Next song is Suffocate featuring Poppy, and the previous track leads previously into the song, like I was saying before. and it just has crushing drums. Like if you listen to this on headphones, you might need to like turn it down a little bit or something, because it's like it's good. It's like crushing. It's loud, and I think that's guarantee you that's what they were going for. And the vocals were also crushing and a very cool feature. So she got to do some screaming as well, Poppy did. And they did kind of a little cool back and forth. And then she started singing, sort of sing talking in her regular voice. And you could hear the singer of Knocked Loose in the background screaming the same words that she's just speaking. That was a very cool effect. Yeah, that added to the song. And yeah, this song was the first, other than Thirst, which was menacing. This song is especially menacing as well. So it kind of leads into that eerie, creepy kind of vibe this album's going for. Like you can just look at the album artwork and you're like, okay, what the heck is going on here? So the next song is Don't Reach For Me. And this is the longest song yet on the album. I think the only one that's longer than this one is Sit and Mourn. I think so. But yeah. Don't Reach For Me has kind of this cool dissonant sound at the beginning a little bit with no instruments and only vocals, but it's like 5 seconds. But it sounds great. It definitely changes up what you've been listening to for the past 3 minutes so far. And then kind of your traditional punk drums, amazing drums, well done, drum player, and then a groove bass and drum section as well with the singing. I really liked how the song kind of just kept switching it up. And I was reading some of the notes for this album on Apple Music with the interview, and they were saying that for this song in particular, they were actually going for more of a rock pop song structure. So I thought that was interesting because this song did not sound typical to me. So, but I guess with them changing it up, like going from the punk drumming, from the vocals being isolated to the groove bass guitar and drum section, it kind of has the bones of a pop song or a rock song, but it sounded definitely unique to me. So well done. And this for sure ended up being in my top 5 as well. And I kind of like how, so this is all right. So Knocked Loose, as most people know, is the Arf Arf band, but they're obviously more than that. But they had this cool moment where towards the end of this song, instead of Arf Arf, he's just like, yeah! And it goes dun, 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 into the end of the song. I thought that was cool to choose yeah as the word. But yeah, there you go. Yeah, Don't Reach For Me ended up in my top 5 for sure. Next song is kind of more like an interlude. It has vocals though, so it is a legit song, but it's a very quick song, and that's kind of typical for hardcore. So nothing out of normal here. So Moss Covers All is a very solid quick track. Yeah, okay, I may have been wrong. Moss Covers All might be faster than Thirst. Like they just keep one upping themselves on here on this album, so it's pretty impressive. They keep doing something different on every song, so that I appreciate that. And this is kind of the first introduction of what I like to call chimey guitars that you hear a lot on metal albums. The dun dun dun, that kind of progression or sound, but slightly cleaner guitar sound. This is the first song with that in it. And actually, for the rest of the album, you can hear those chimey guitars come back in every now and then. And it creates definitely an atmosphere, good atmosphere. And there's deeper vocals on this song. And yeah, this is more interlude, which leads into directly into Take Me Home. And those same chimey guitars are at the beginning, making it very creepy. And there's some regular singing vocals at the beginning of this song. So this song might have also been Knocked Loose trying a different kind of structure compared to like a hardcore song. Yeah, so it also had like a jungle beat again. That's the best way for me to describe it. And like just the sound of like drumsticks hitting like a practice drum kit, just like a pad almost, or maybe the rim of a snare drum. So that was a cool effect as well. It kind of gave the song like a different feel than all the other songs. And at the very end of the song, it ended with like a 50s jazz tune. Maybe not jazz, but like a 50s pop sound. Or maybe 40s. Like it sounded old. Like maybe 40s. Close to 40s. Yeah, 40s kind of sounding pop at the end, just in the last 5 seconds. And Take Me Home, absolutely in my top 5. Absolutely. Next song is Slaughterhouse 2. And I just learned about the song. I'll have to go find Slaughterhouse 1, which is, I believe, might be on a Motionless in White album. But this song convinced me to go find that song because this is a sequel to that. And it features Chris Motionless from Motionless in White. And I need to listen to Motionless in White. So this technically introduced me to that band. So I will check them out after this. And this was a good feature. He sticks out. You know, you want to kind of get a feature, and Poppy did as well, that kind of doesn't sound like your lead singer of the band. Like it has a definite different sound. And they did that here. Seamless feature. There's good harmonic guitars in this song, and very good like duetting vocals going back and forth from Chris Motionless to the Knocked Loose guy and back and forth to and fro. And there was a very sick breakdown at the end of the song. This, oh man, this is tough. Slaughterhouse 2 might have one of the best breakdowns in the album. It's close. I'm trying to think of any other ones that might reach it. Piece by Piece is rough in a good way. I don't know. I'll have to think about that towards the end of the review. But yeah, so there's also a very good bleh at the end. You gotta have a good bleh. So solid song. And then the next song is The Calm That Keeps You Awake. And this song also had the different sounding percussion, like in Take Me Home. Almost like they're banging on buckets or something. like plastic buckets. And there's like groove riffs at the beginning, and then it goes into like a punk / slam beat, just like pounding you into the ground. So this song's also pretty, yeah, I just put that the song is just like pure rage. Like you listen to the song, like people shall be moshed, and people will be moshed during this song for sure. And yeah, just there's chugging guitars at the end. The guitars are louder than ever in this song in particular towards the end. And this is actually the second song that ends with birds singing in the background. And that also gives it kind of an eerie feeling. Like, why am I randomly hearing birds at the random of this song? I think the other song might have been Moss Covers All, that you hear the birds, or maybe Don't Reach For Me. But that's the second song that you hear that has the random birds. And then that leads into Blinding Faith. Blinding Faith has that kind of very like screechy guitar sound, kind of like the best example I can think of that I've listened to before is like Smashing Pumpkins, like the kind of like that. They did that a lot on Blinding Faith. And the next song is Sit and Mourn. It had a slow beginning just to open the song, basically. and had very good bass guitar for the lead verses. So it kind of let the bass shine. You gotta love the bass, and very much had a cool sound. And he sings basically halfway through a song, and then there's no more singing, and then it goes into like echoey guitar for a little bit with the dissonant kind of sounding clean guitar. And I like very much how they made the guitar sound like it's being played in like a huge room or something, or maybe for this album being played in like a huge cathedral, empty cathedral or something, I don't know. And yeah, I very much like that effect, the echoey effect. And then towards the end, it gets into the regular guitar playing with the chugs and strong. And the song actually had the most positive lyrics of the album. So they ended on a positive note. Cool. And so, yeah, let's go quickly through what would be my top five. So, piece by piece, for sure. I believe Suffocate made it onto there. It didn't. Okay, dang. Hey, it's a good album though. If I was seriously considering Suffocate, so almost. So piece by piece, Don't Reach for Me is number 2. Take Me Home is number 3. Slaughterhouse 2, number 4. The Calm That Keeps You Awake, yeah, is number 5. Okay, that's my top 5 for the album. And I think this is a very quick album. This is 28 minutes, and that's typical for like a hardcore album. So pretty by the numbers when it comes to the amount of time in the album. And this is definitely this album is an artistic expression for sure. So I gotta realize that in putting my review in, because you can definitely tell like thought was put into the placement of the songs on this 10-track album. Like each song just blends perfectly into the next song. It's definitely telling a story. And I'm going to have to, upon first listen of this album, I am going to give it a 8 out of 10. I think there's a couple songs that might be just a little too short. Like maybe, for example, Moss Covers All is perfect, but how crazy would it have been if it was like 30 seconds longer? I don't know. But I can't really give it a perfect score because I would probably end up skipping Moss Covers All. I would probably skip Blinding Faith too. I mean, Blinding Faith is a good song, but I just wouldn't see myself listening to that over and over again. And so I would skip those two, and I'd probably skip Thirst because I don't want that like jump scare to be on my speakers like, oh, what the crap. But yeah, I think 8 out of 10 is a good review for this album. All right, and if you guys enjoyed that review, check out my channel, and I will see you guys later. Have a good one.